At 3:15 a.m. on the 19th of September 2025 in Kursk, Russia, the Marines of the 810th Brigade believed their $1.7 billion command hub was untouchable, a fortress immune to attack. But within just 8 minutes, 5 Ukrainian FPV drones worth a mere $1.500 would transform that pride into a raging fireball, the most expensive bonfire on Earth. This wasn't random. For weeks, Ukrainian intelligence studied the site and discovered its fatal flaw, a 5-foot-wide radar blind spot that stretched right to the hub's unguarded rear. Now, 3 FPV drones are racing through that gap just 10 feet above the forest floor. Their target is Russia's logistical brain. With peace talks frozen, this strike carries a message for Moscow. Ukraine can bleed your border whenever it wants. While 2 decoy drones climb high to bait the $20 million Panzer S-1 system, the real attackers slip in low through the trees. The irony, the Panzer software is so smart it's dumb-built to track jets at 3,000 feet. It ignores small, low-flying drones as birds. Inside the control room, operators see nothing unusual. Their screens are clear. They have no clue what's coming. At 3:17 a.m., 3 $500 drones slice through the fog, their AI controllers making thousands of micro-corrections each second to counter a light wind. Just 3 miles to target, 8 minutes to impact. Hidden by Earth's curve and dense mist, they remain invisible to radar. Everything is going perfectly, until it isn't. A Russian patrol hears a faint, high-pitched whine that doesn't belong in the forest. He fires blindly into the fog, orange tracers slicing the night, but shooting at sound means you're always too late. The drone already moved half a second ago. In the control bunker, the operator jerks the stick, pulling a brutal 3G turn. 1 decoy drone bursts apart in sparks as gunfire finds it. The 2 real drones and the last decoy dive deeper into the fog hearts, pounding inside the command center. The patrol's gunfire wakes the entire base. Drones inbound, someone shouts. 2 miles from the target, the Krasuka 4 electronic warfare system roars to life, flooding the air with 100 kilowatts of jamming power. The operator's screen turns to static. The signal is dead. For a few seconds, the drones are blind, but the Ukrainians planned for this. The moment the signal died, the 3 attack drones switched to autonomous mode, guided by Starlink coordinates and gyroscopes. You can jam radio waves, but not physics. The last decoy drone unleashes blazing 3600-degree flares, flooding the Krasuka's sensors with fake heat signatures. While the jammer chokes on chaos, the Panzer's radar stirs to life, sweeping the forest but finds nothing. Inside the command center, the Marines who once brutalized Mariupol sip coffee and stare at blank monitors. The Panzer's giant cannons creak to life, but their targeting lags by 2.5 seconds, too slow to matter. They're trying to swat mosquitoes with a battleship. The Krasuka screams, the Panzer fumbles, and the real swarm creeps just 1.5 miles from target, silent, unstoppable. At 3:19 a.m., the jammer's blast cuts out for 2 seconds, long enough for Ukrainian brilliance to take control again. The swarm's mesh network activates when 1 drone detects danger. All react together like digital sparrows, moving as one. The Russian system, by contrast, needs 10 full seconds to process orders. In that time, the drones travel nearly 900 feet. With the Krasuka blinded by flares, the enraged Panzer takes the bait, its twin 30mm cannons unleashing 5,000 rounds a minute. The decoy vanishes in a fiery flash, but its sacrifice buys the swarm precious seconds. The storm of cannon fire forces the Panzer's radar to reboot. The operator seizes the chance, splitting the 3 attack drones into separate paths, dropping from 10 to 5 feet above ground. They're so low, they're practically skimming the mud. With the Krasuka jammed by decoy flares, the real danger awakens. The enraged Panzer locks onto the last decoy, its twin 30mm cannons unleashing 5,000 rounds a minute, a solid wall of metal. The drone vaporizes in midair, but its sacrifice buys the attack swarm vital seconds. The violent gunfire forces the Panzer's radar to reboot, giving the Ukrainian operator a brief window. He slams the stick, splitting the 3 attack drones into separate paths. They drop from 10 to just 5 feet, flying so low they're nearly brushing the mud below. The Panzer's targeting computer, choking on ghost signals from the flares, completely crashes. It was built to track 1 large jet in a clear sky, not 3 tiny twisting targets in dense fog. Now the machine is blind, and its steel guardian is firing at ghosts. The battle isn't over. Ahead lies the final defense, desperate Marines with shoulder-fired launchers. At 3:20 a.m., the swarm closes to within a mile. With high-tech systems failing, the Russians fall back on brute force, raw fear, and firepower. The tree line explodes with Igla-S launchers roaring to life. One soldier locks onto a drone's 200-degree heat signature and fires. A streak of flame cuts the fog, a missile racing toward the target at impossible speed. But the drone performs a stunning counter. With a sharp hiss, a 5-second burst of liquid nitrogen floods its motor housing, dropping its temperature to near freezing. To the missile's infrared eye, it simply vanishes, a real-life Jedi trick. The missile screams past, missing by inches, exploding harmlessly in the mist. But that maneuver drains massive power. The drones now have less than 8 minutes of flight time. The clock isn't ticking anymore. It's screaming. Frustrated, the Russian EW crew narrows their attack, focusing all 100 kilowatts on the swarm's 2.4 GHz band. The operator's feed rips and flickers violently. This is the strike they feared most, but the Ukrainians came prepared. The drones don't stay on one frequency. They hop across 500 channels per second, dodging jammers like digital ghosts. Trying to jam them is like shooting a target that teleports 1,500 times a second, chaos but not control. With jamming failing, the Panzer gunner switches to manual. It's no longer a high-tech defense, just a man, a joystick, and blind rage. He sprays tungsten and lead into the fog, praying one round hits something. As a last resort, a mortar thumps, firing a chaff shell. It bursts above the base, scattering aluminum strips meant to blind radar. Instead, it blinds everyone. The target disappears from both Russian eyes and drone cameras. The operator's battery is dying, his screen tearing apart in static. Blind and desperate, he kills auto-targeting and takes control by instinct. He dives the drones low through mud and grass, hoping to break through the silver fog. Suddenly, the metallic haze parts and the target appears. Dead ahead, the main bunker packed with 122mm shells. To the left, a warehouse of RPGs. To the right, a bay of Grad launchers. 15 seconds to impact. The base's defenses are dying. The Panzer's guns glow red-hot out of ammo or broken. The Krasuka still jams the air, but it's useless. The drones are too close. On the ground, Marines fire wildly at ghosts, panic replacing training. And here lies Russia's fatal flaw, putting everything in one massive explosive basket. One spark is all it takes. A sudden crosswind jolts the lead drone, but its AI corrects instantly. The sound of the swarm becomes physical, felt in teeth and bone. The lead drone locks its camera fixes on the ammo bunker and arms its warhead. The signal crackles, but the coordinates are already locked in. A bright arc cuts through the night sky. The final run begins. The last seconds feel endless. The operator's pulse syncs with the drone's hum, each vibration a heartbeat. Static fills the feed, then just before blackout, a flash. A light so white it erases everything. The shockwave slams across the base like a hammer of air. The blast consumes the bunker, the fuel depot, and the radio tower in a single heartbeat. Windows shatter 20 kilometers away. Radar screens go dead. For 10 seconds, the world is silent, then a new sound rises deep and rolling. It's the echo of the blast bouncing through the valley, turning into a low growl that fades like thunder pulling away. When the smoke clears, the Marine headquarters is gone. The entire 810th Brigade, once the pride of Russia's Black Sea Fleet, reduced to twisted steel and cratered ground. Not one intact structure remains. Russian channels first report a fuel accident, then go silent. Hours later, satellite photos show the truth. A square kilometer of scorched earth-blackened vehicles, and not a single working antenna. Ukrainian intelligence confirms the strike eliminated over 300 personnel, including officers and EW crews. The Krasuka system, once Russia's electronic pride, lies melted beside its own generator truck. The operator sits in silence, his hands shake, eyes fixed on static. There's no cheering, no relief, only exhaustion. In war, victory doesn't sound like triumph. It sounds like nothing at all. And that's how one Ukrainian drone team erased a $1.7 billion fortress, not with numbers, but with precision, timing, and courage. In modern war, speed isn't everything. Intelligence is.